to Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm sure Kimbaloye in Lagos. Tonight, we kick off with the news coming from the presidential villa, where the presidency has issued warning to staff against divulging state secret. And so an oath of secrecy is being administered on 42 staff at the State House. The State House Permanent Secretary, Tijani Umar, who issued the warning today, says alerting staff of the penalties that accrues to a breach of classified documents without authorization has become fundamental, particularly to retired staff. He says there has been no record of any breach of information yet, neither is there anticipation of any, but the exercise will continue to put civil servants in check. Tonight, we'll be finding out the details of President Buhari's trip to the United Kingdom. But before we get into that, let's tell you about some of your political roundup stories.
And the Benue State Governor, Samuel Otom, has scored the ruling All Progressives Congress APC-led administration low on performance. Governor Otom argues that the administration hasn't measured up to the aspirations of Nigerians using development indices to assess the APC government since it took over power in 2015.
Is it the economy? Is it security? Is it social capital? Is it what? Check the records. This country have completely failed us.
Ahead of the Congress's and National Convention of the All Progressives Congress, some members of the party under the edges of the APC Progressive Youth Movement are calling on the leadership of the party to shelve the idea of electing candidates through the consensus option. Addressing a news conference in Abuja, spokesperson of the youths, Mrs. Zara Audu, says the idea of a consensus candidate is an undemocratic decision capable of causing serious disharmony within the party.
The idea of consensus candidate in itself is undemocratic and will surely cause a tear in our already delicate party fabric. It is public knowledge that several fractions between the party have already expressed their displeasure with the choice of a consensus candidate.
The Lagos State Independent National Electoral Commission has issued certificates of return to the newly elected local government chairmen, as well as councillors who will run the affairs of the 20 local government areas and 37 local council development areas of the state in the next 4 years.
The best strategy to combat voter apathy, therefore, is for the elected officials, such as yourselves, to live to the expectations of the citizenry and urge your supporters to come out and vote whenever elections occur.
And after that event, the chairperson and councillors proceeded to the government house in Ikeja, where they were sworn in by the state governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu.
You have been elected to serve the people and put them first in all that you do. And you have a responsibility to ensure that you do not let them down in any way or form.
A coalition of political parties in Osun State under the edges of the Forum of Progressive Political Parties has raised concerns over the skyrocketing figures emanating from the website of the Independent National Electoral Commission. The group says Osun is one with the lowest and weakest internet penetration compared to Rivers, Kano and Abuja in terms of connectivity usage, and registered close to 300,000 persons, claiming that the figure of the registered new voters in the continuous voter registration is suspicious and scrupulous considering the population of the state.
We hereby demand that an immediate forensic audit should be conducted on the generated and appropriated figures of Osun State to reveal the true position of things.
Well, let's also tell you that the All Progressives Congress APC has been reacting to the communique released by the PDP Governors Forum on the present state of the nation. They describe it as a tissue of lies. According to the statement from the ruling party, the PDP's own admittance to its failed state is remarkable. The statement goes on to say that the communique is laced with lies, idle conspiracy theories on the state of the nation, and a pitiable attempt to explain its failed state as a supposed main opposition party in the country. The statement also reads in part code, "It is indeed remarkable that the PDP has finally opened up to its fast depleting fortunes. However, it is advisable that the PDP concentrate on redemption instead of blaming the APC or anyone else for its rudderless state." And of course, Nigeria ruling party asks the PDP to quickly address itself to the fact that its members and leaders who are joining the APC in droves are attracted and inspired by the progressive leadership of the President Muhammadu Buhari's government and the internal democracy being entrenched by the leadership of the governor, Mai Mala Buni-led APC caretaker and extraordinary convention planning committee. And now to our main conversation for tonight. Well, in the first part of our main conversation, that is, President Muhammadu Buhari traveled to the United Kingdom yesterday. The president flew out of Nigeria to attend the Global Education Summit in London. The presidency says the president will participate in the Global Education Summit on financing global partnership for education. The summit, which will be co-hosted by the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Boris Johnson, and the President of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, will bring together heads of state and government as well as stakeholders and youth leaders and provide a platform for partners to chart a way forward towards transforming education systems in partner countries through exchange of best practices. President Buhari will also hold a bilateral meeting with Prime Minister Boris Johnson after the summit. The president will spend a few days for an early scheduled medical checkup. He is due back in the country by the second week of August 2021. Let's now get some more on this trip. I'm now being joined by President Buhari's media advisor, Mr. Femi Adesina, who joins us virtually from London. Thank you so much, Mr. Adesina, for joining us tonight. I will envisage that your day may be busy. My colleague Juliela Olanyika was earlier with you. But let's speak to some of the issues that took the president to the UK. First and foremost, let's clarify a few issues here and there, details of the president's trip. When specifically is the president expected back in the country? You just told us in that statement that is the second week of August. Do we have a date specifically?
Well, by second week, we mean the week starting on the second Sunday in August and ending the following Saturday. So he could come any day within that week. That's what it means in English.
I understand that the statement was written in English, but sometimes there are the things that are being said and the unsaid that are being hidden in statements. So we just wanted to know when exactly we should be expecting the president back. But in the absence of
the last time the president spoke, that was also how it was indicated that he will come back within a certain week, and he was back within that week.
Okay, but this time after the summit, we go and see his doctors. That is also in London, isn't it?
Yes, it's a routine check actually. Recall that he should have gone on that trip some 2-3 weeks back. But when this summit came up, the president felt, why not kill two birds with one stone? Instead of traveling for a routine medical checkup, coming back, and then coming for this summit, why not wait and combine both? And that's why both are being combined now.
I know this is not the first time we're talking about President Buhari's medical trip to the UK, but just for us to know, the Presidential Villa Clinic is not up and running as much to serve the president just yet, is it?
No, you know that that facility was downgraded to a medical center about a year or two ago. It's not a full-fledged clinic as it used to be. Maybe it's going to be upgraded later, but it is not the same status that it was some years back. The status of that facility was reduced.
Oh, so in essence, it cannot cater for the medical needs of the president as of now.
Well, I'm not a medical person. I cannot say. But what I will say is that President Buhari has been with the same doctors and medical team for upward of 40 years. And it's advisable that he continues with those who know his medical history. And that is why he comes to London to see them.
Just for clarification, so it is because of this reason that the president is visiting London for medical checkup, not that there are no hospitals in Nigeria that can cater for his needs.
Yes, I wouldn't also be categorical on that, because I'm not a medical person. But what I know is that he has used the same medical team for about 40 years. So I think it stands to reason that he continues with a team that has his medical history. Once you can afford it, then stay with the team that has your history.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, and I consider that as a premise of the last question that I asked, that it is because of that reason that he's visiting them, because there has been issues raised about the state of medical hospitals and the state of medicine practice in Nigeria, and the reason of capital flight, the reason why Nigerians embark on medical tourism, which is one of the things that this administration, the APC government, said they were going to put an end to. So is it just for that reason that the president is wanting to stick with his doctors, or that we do not have hospitals that can cater for the needs? I just want clarification on that.
I'll say it's a primary reason. It's a primary reason to stay with those who have his medical history. It's a primary reason.
Okay.
And you will also recall that in recent times, some hospitals are coming up in Nigeria, particularly after COVID-19, through a combination of public and private sectors. Some great medical facilities are coming up in Nigeria, and Nigeria will be the better off for it in a couple more months or years. The health facilities will not be what it used to be. I think we're a lot better off.
Okay, so in the absence of President Buhari, will he be piloting the affairs of the nation or administering the country from the UK, or actively there is a mechanism for him to, for the nation to run in his absence?
Yes, the nation is running. It's running. There is a vice president who will attend to critical issues. There's no vacuum. And I think a constitutional amendment has sorted that out. The position now is that if a president is not available, I think for 21 days, the vice president automatically becomes the acting president. So there are no issues about that again. It's been sorted out.
Okay, so let's talk about, okay, so in essence also, when the president finishes his official trip and he goes on to his private trip, the same modus operandi will take place, will be in effect, what you just explained.
The president and the vice president have a seamless working relationship. So there are no issues there.
So there might not be any reason to take files that like we saw reported other times where files were being reported to have been taken to the UK to the president to attend to.
That information that you said you had there, did you authenticate it?
I said reported.
President Buhari is...
I said reported.
Well, it was said. The fact that it was said did not mean it happened. President Buhari is a thorough and methodical person. He doesn't grab power. Once he has handed over to his deputy, the deputy continues to run the country. So the talk of files being taken back and forth, you better check properly and be sure they were correct.
Right. So now let's talk about the business, the official business that took the president to the UK. First and foremost, one leg is the Education Summit. We have at least over 1 million kids out of school in Nigeria. That's a major problem. And we also know that there's been a series of attacks on education institutions in Nigeria. The president will be part of this Education Summit. What will the president, what has he prepared to tell this global audience at this summit?
Yes, of course, if you look at the statistics on out-of-school children in Nigeria, you'll find that there was a reduction. The last statistics released last year showed improvements. Definitely the president will be talking about the statistics, what used to be, what is now, what he envisages for the future. All that will come up. And of course, you know, there's going to be a commitment, a 5-year commitment to the funding of education. The president will also make pronouncements about that.
Great. I know that there is about $5 billion on the table, which of course is being a conversation in the UK before this meeting, which the House of Commons and the Parliament in the UK have been talking about, and government officials have also weighed in on this matter. But in specific, has the president or the government of Nigeria come forward with a possible solution, especially in tackling these dissidents, these evil actors that are chasing our children and kidnapping them out of school? Is there any possible position of Nigerian government that is going to be presented at this Global Education Summit that we need to look forward to?
No. Yeah, you see, that issue of kidnapping pupils and students and attacking our schools will come within the broad spectrum of the security challenges facing the country. There's no way you will tackle it without tackling the broad issue. Insurgency, banditry, terrorism, kidnapping, cultism, all the security challenges have to be taken as a whole. It is then that the ones that pertain to our schools specifically can also be addressed. If you want to address the ones pertaining to our schools without also addressing the larger picture, the larger situation, the larger challenges, it will not work. So it's part of a whole, and the whole is what the government is going to tackle.
So tell us specifically, what will be the demand of the Nigerian government at this summit?
Oh, will demand be a good word to use? It's not a demand, rather it's a contribution. It's an issue that is being put on the table, and there will be about 90 countries affected by this out-of-school children phenomenon that will be part of this. It's being co-hosted by the British Prime Minister and the Kenyan President, Uhuru Kenyatta. And about 90 countries are affected, not just Nigeria. So there is no demand being brought to the table. Rather, it's an issue being discussed from different sides. And different countries of the world are going to make contributions and are going to make pledges towards financing education globally. You know that COVID-19 affected almost everything, education included. That's why a summit like this is very important at this time.
So let's go to the conversation, because on the sideline of this global summit is also some of the businesses that the president will also take care of, part of which we understand is the meeting with Prime Minister Boris Johnson. That meeting is scheduled at 10 Downing Street, is it?
No. That meeting is scheduled at the sidelines of the summit. The summit is holding at a particular location. So it is not unlikely, and I even have it on good authority, that it will just hold in a side room at the location of the summit. Remember that the British Prime Minister is co-hosting with the Kenyan president. So he will not be at 10 Downing, rather he will be at the location of the summit. And it will just be a side event during the summit. Just moving to a side room from the hall and holding a meeting.
All right. The venue might not be as important as what will be discussed at that meeting.
Good.
So give us a sense of the agenda of that meeting between President Buhari and Prime Minister Johnson.
Well, I understand that the meeting is at the instance of the British. So I may not have an idea of what the agenda will be for now. Of course, the president will have talking points already prepared for him, but the meeting was at the instance of the British. So they are the ones that will now come up with the issues to be discussed. And when it's a bilateral meeting, of course, you know, you don't begin to talk on what the president and the prime minister will say if that meeting has not held. It is after the meeting that you can report on what actually happened.
We hope to have you back to talk about what transpires between the both leaders. But let's talk about what happened as the president and you and the president were traveling. Nigerians are talking about the state of affairs in the country. And the PDP governors met in Bauchi and they spoke about the state of the nation. In fact, one of the criticisms that came out of that meeting was that recently, the presidential villa has suddenly become the APC headquarters, and where more of the PDP governors and leaders are being hoodwinked and being harassed to join the APC and being presented at the villa. How do you react to that?
Well, I read it. But you know that PDP is a beleaguered party. It is harried and harassed, and it's in total confusion. And I said they've just started. Between now and 2023, there will be more confusion in their ranks, and there will be more depletion in their ranks. So that's why they say anything. However illogical, however inconsequential, they say anything. We were in this country when President Obasanjo was in power, and the BOT meeting of PDP used to hold at the presidential villa. We were here when President Yaradua was there, when President Jonathan was there. They held meetings at the presidential villa. So what are they talking about, really? And talking about decampment. When APC dwindled from 24 governors to 19, did you hear a whimper from PDP one day rejoicing? It's not because they are losing ground that they are saying all these things, but it's the way of politics. So I tell them, they should be ready for more decampment, for more cross-carpeting, for more potting between now and 2023.
For someone who voices as sounds the voice of the president, you must be privy to information, inside information. When you say the ranks of the PDP will be more depleted, what information do you have that you want to share with us?
Yes, because 2022 particularly will be the year of unveiling of massive infrastructure in this country. When I say massive, I mean M-A-S-S-I-V-E, massive. 2022 is the year the president will likely unfold the second Niger Bridge that the PDP built with mouth for 16 years. You will see the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway Commission. You will see Abuja-Kano done to a large extent, if not fully done. You will see the Boni-Bodo Road. You will see the Lobo-Oweto Bridge. You will see massive, massive projects being commissioned in the country. You will see AKK pipelines being commissioned. And a lot of PDP governors will say, yes, we are backing the wrong goals. We are coming to APC. That is what will happen. 2022 particularly.
Because I know politicians move at night. Have you noticed any of those movements around the villa at night?
Well, the villa is there to serve Nigeria 24 hours. They can move at any time.
So it's already happening. PDP guys are already coming to the villa. Is it?
They can move at any time. Three governors joined the APC recently. You know that before they came in, we knew what was happening. We knew. So we also know what is happening now. We know those who are already indicating that they want to talk with the APC. And between now and 2023, you will see what will happen.
So on a final note, Dr. Hakeem Baba Ahmed said something yesterday. He highlighted some of the frailties of the Nigerian economy, some of the problems of insecurity. And he said that Nigeria has been destroyed by the PDP, and the APCs continue to destroy it. How do you react to it?
Well, Dr. Hakeem Baba Ahmed will have a right to his opinion. And because I don't speak for him, I don't have to even react to what he has said. But if he has said anything, it's his right.
Your usual, what has become Femi Adesina's cliche, when you don't want to categorically respond to anything, you just say, oh, they have the right, it's their opinion, they have the right to it. It could be frustrating for an interviewer. But just in 20 seconds, so that we can close this segment of the program. In reality, the nation is faced with a lot of insecurity problems. And the economy, in fact, we saw the MPC meeting today where the CBN was frankly against the BDC and the issue of how we can tame the state of the Naira. Things are not in the best of shape. Is it not right for Nigerians to speak their minds on what they think is wrong in the country? Is the president concerned genuinely about the state of the nation?
Well, when you say things are not in the best of shape, you make it a sweeping statement. But that will not be right. There are challenges. There are challenges in certain areas. In security, there are challenges. In economy, there are challenges. But that does not mean that some good things are not happening in the country. I've just spoken to you about infrastructure and things that will be commissioned in the first quarter of next year particularly. Are those not good things? There are challenges in the country, and those challenges are being tackled. Rest assured that those challenges will be decisively tackled in the lifetime of this administration. It will be wrong for anybody to just come out and say, things are not right in the country. No, there are challenges. Just as many other countries of the world also have challenges. But are there good things happening in Nigeria? I can bet you great things are happening in this country.
I believe that great things will happen in this country. But some will say, what are these infrastructure when there is no security?
And by the time you have spent all the money on security and you get security correct, what will have happened to infrastructure? So run both simultaneously, just as the Buhari administration is running it. Working on infrastructure massively and also tackling insecurity massively. So when insecurity is resolved, you have infrastructure to fall back on.
Femi Adesina is a special advisor to President Muhammadu Buhari on media and publicity. He's been speaking with us from London and of the meeting that will be happening in the coming days, the Global Education Summit there. Thank you so much, Mr. Adesina. We'll still be checking with you as your stay in London continues. Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you. I'm grateful.
We'll take a break now, and when we return, we will be speaking with Mr. Festus Okoye on the state of Anambra governorship election race and the controversies that are now raging. Join us again. Thank you, everyone, for staying with us on the program. Let's switch now from what is happening in London to what will be happening in Nigeria, or what is already happening. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has today begun the fiscal phase. Well, it was actually yesterday. Today is Tuesday. There's a way I keep losing count. I mean, the days and the times of day. I mean, it's something very funny with me these days. Well, INEC has begun this physical phase of its continuous voters registration exercise across the country. INEC says after 4 weeks since it commenced the online pre-registration of voters on the 28th June 2021, over 1 million Nigerians have registered And as of yesterday, the number of new registrants have now risen to 1,600,661. Nigerians who pre-registered online can now complete their registration at those centers based on scheduled appointments. In addition, all the Nigerians who prefer to register physically and in person can now do so at those centers. You can see on your screen the breakdown. Whatever state you may be in the country, where you've done your exercise, you're probably captured in those numbers that you see there. And the breakdown is further there for you to see the number of females, the number of males, the breakdown of how it's gone down. I've already given you an idea of who my next guest is. Let's be with him now. He's the National Commissioner in charge of voter education and publicity at INEC, Mr. Festus Okoye. Thank you so much, Mr. Okoye, for joining us tonight. You remember, I told you that I'll keep disturbing you as long as this exercise goes on, because Nigerians need to be educated and informed about some of these processes, because it's a right of citizens to go to the polling unit and vote. And to do that, you have to register. So give us a sense of this physical phase. So whoever has done his online registration on the portal that we checked with you when you came into our Abuja studio and did the demonstration. So anybody now can go, any of those people, any of these over 1 million people, 1.6 million, can now work into your offices. Which of the offices? Is it the state, the local government areas?
What we have done is that the over 1 million persons who have registered, who have pre-registered with our online registration portal have been scheduled. So each registrant has a day within which he or she can approach any of our state or local government offices and complete the registration exercise or registration. So I didn't have any conference with the chairman. And as you are aware, the commission meets on Thursdays. So the commission has not met to take any decision or to look into any other issue relating to the Anambra governorship election. So as of today, the position is that the list of the personal particulars of candidates as uploaded by the commission on the 16th day of July still remains. But let me just say this. There is no judicial division of the Federal High Court or the State High Court or the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory in the Independent National Electoral Commission. 2, the Independent National Electoral Commission is not a court of law and has no adjudicatory powers. 3rd, the issue of the conduct of party primaries is within the domestic realm of political parties, and political parties are also enjoined to conform to the provisions of Section 87 of the Electoral Act in the conduct of their party primaries. So I think that it is incumbent on political parties to use their own internal rules and internal mechanisms and internal guidelines to resolve their party challenges and their party problems. Under Section 285 of the Constitution, under Section 287 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Independent National Electoral Commission is an institution that respects the rule of law and due process. And we have been enjoined by the Constitution to enforce the judgments and orders and decisions of courts of competent jurisdiction anywhere in Nigeria. And this particular commission will continue to respect court orders and also enforce court orders so long as those court orders relates to the functions and the powers of the Independent National Electoral Commission. So if there are new court orders that have come in, if there are new judgments that have come in, at the appropriate time and within the confines of the guidelines and rules and procedures of the Commission, the Independent National Electoral Commission will meet, look at these judgments, and if the judgments are clear and we understand what the courts have asked us to do, definitely we will comply, because we are not a court of law and we don't have adjudicatory powers. So the only powers we have is to enforce the decisions and judgments of courts.
So let's get it clearly. So nothing has changed. Professor Soludo and Senator Ugochukwu are not on your register as we speak. They are not on the INEC candidate list. Yes or no?
As we speak today, no. But the commission, I'm aware that some court orders have come in, and at the appropriate time during the commission's meeting, we will look at some of these court orders and understand what we have been asked to do, and we will definitely comply with valid court orders served on the commission.
There is another beyond. There are leadership issues. APGA has it, and there is also the Action Alliance. Earlier on in the day, we spoke with Mr. Ken Udeze, the national chairman of Action Alliance. I want you to listen to him, Mr. Okoye, and respond to some of the grievances of Mr. Udeze and the AA. Take a listen to him.
My positions have been challenged since I emerged as the national chairman of this party in 2017. They took me to Federal High Court in Oshobo, challenging my emergence. We won that case in Oshobo. But the matter was virtually transferred from Oshobo to Abuja, where Justice Taiwo struck out the case challenging my emergence as the national chairman. They still went through some of their cohorts and instituted another matter in the Federal High Court in the case of Tunde Anifowoshe Kelani against Barrister Kenneth Udeze and one other. And the matter was dismissed because when we put up our defense, the man quickly came and withdrew the matter. Now, they went to Jabi, where they purported, where they said they were asking the court to order me not to parade myself as the national chairman of the party. And Justice Abaza threw out their matter by dismissing it for want of evidence. And when issues of elections were coming, like Edo and Ondo that just passed, we fielded candidates, which INEC did not take, and we challenged that matter in court. But because there is a matter before Justice Binta Muhammad, and we couldn't get judgment before the end of that pre-election matter, the matter went the way it went. The court declined jurisdiction and said the matter should be heard in FCT High Court. But this time around, we have decided to go to FCT High Court to challenge the illegal removal of the name of our subsisting and legitimate candidate in the person of Mr. John Iko Tuonye Okechukwu from contesting the election. So we're in court. And I believe with all the subsisting judgments of the court we have, INEC cannot escape it this time. Our next step is clear. Just like I've told you, as a matter of fact, the case file is CU/1734/2021, which is the case we have filed. And since we have subjected ourselves to the court, there's nothing else we can do than to wait for the law, because we know strongly that the mill of justice grinds slowly, but surely justice must be done. And not until justice begins to flow like a river, we cannot stop from defending our right. As far as we are concerned, my leadership remains the authentic leadership of Action Alliance, widely recognized all over Nigeria. And as far as we are concerned, nobody can intimidate us out of office. That is one thing I want to assure Nigerians. You all already know, right from the time I emerged as the national chairman of this party, between 2017 and 2018, I was elected the National Legal Advisor of Interparty Advisory Council, which I have virtually come in this year program. Nigerians know who the chairman is, but the action of few stars of INEC who have decided to collaborate with external politicians, external forces, to come and put confusion in AA, it cannot work. Now we have built the ship. Everybody wants to climb into the ship. This party was registered in 2005, August, and from that moment till date, it has not won any election, apart from the election we won in 2019, when we produced 10 legislative seats, 8 House of Assembly and 2 House of Rep. Now everybody feels that the land is becoming green, and you want to come and hijack the party. I'm looking at them at their face to tell them they cannot take away this party from the masses that's on it.
That's Ken Udeze earlier on. Mr. Okoye, your reaction to what he said. 1, exclusion; 2, recognition of his leadership.
Well, the Independent National Electoral Commission is not a political party. We are not going to micromanage any political party. If political parties have issues, if political parties have problems, if political parties have challenges, they should use their own internal mechanisms to deal with some of those challenges. From what he has said, you can see that they have suits in various courts of law. So it is within their own competence to resolve those matters. So I don't think that it is right, it is correct for any political party to drag the commission into its internal problems and into its own internal challenges. We would rather advise that they should resolve their problems. The moment they resolve their problems, the commission will not have a problem with their leadership. But the truth of the matter is that it is not right, and it is not correct for political parties that have problems, rather than resolve their problems, they come and dump the problems in the Independent National Electoral Commission and then drag the commission into their own internal issues and into their own internal problems. No individual, and I think some of the leaders of the political parties make this mistake. No individual constitutionally owns a political party. But some of the leaders of the political parties, when they talk, they say, my party, my party. Constitutionally, the party belongs to the people. And it is within the constitutional realm for there to be a change in leadership every 4 years. Every 4 years, you must renew your leadership of the party. You must renew your hold on the party. So the moment you begin to see the party as your own, you now begin to feel that any challenge to your leadership is a challenge to the party, which should not be the case. So our appeal and our resolve is that political parties that have internal issues, that have internal challenges, should resolve their political problems, should resolve their internal issues using their own internal mechanisms, because the commission is a regulatory agency and a regulatory commission, and will not replace any political party and will not micromanage any political party.
All right. We're due to close now. So invariably, INEC will not be enlisting AA in the Anambra governorship election.
Well, I think that is very, very clear from what he said, that they have issues and they are already in court. When they resolve their matters in court, whatever the court decides, definitely the commission will comply.
All right. Mr. Festus Okoye, National Commissioner with INEC in charge of voter education and publicity, is always a pleasure. Our deal is not over, not until the CVR is over. We'll still find a way of bringing you back to the studio. Thank you so much, my friend, Mr. Festus Okoye. And that's our show for today, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Seun Akinbaloye. Bye-bye.